Have you ever wondered if birds are secretly doing something incredible while you are fast asleep? What if I told you that while your house is completely quiet, while your neighborhood looks empty, and while you are dreaming in bed, an entirely different world may still be active outside your window? A world most people never see. A world filled with movement, decisions, and strange behaviors that happen when humans are no longer watching. Most people think birds disappear when the sun goes down. They imagine birds finding a branch, closing their eyes, and doing nothing until morning. It sounds simple. It sounds obvious. But hidden cameras and nighttime observations have revealed something much more fascinating than that. Tonight, I am going to show you some strange and surprising things birds do while most of us are asleep. Some of these behaviors are so unexpected that many people never even realize they are happening right outside their homes. And one of them may completely change the way you think about birds forever. Before we go deeper, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments. If you could secretly watch birds all night long, what do you think would surprise you the most? Now imagine this. The last light of the day disappears. Streets become quiet. People lock their doors. Lights begin turning off one by one. To humans, it feels like the day is ending. But for many birds, something else is beginning. As darkness spreads across the sky, birds start making important choices. Where will they spend the night? Which place feels safest? Which area should they avoid? These decisions are extremely important because nighttime can be one of the most dangerous parts of a bird's day. A small mistake could put them near predators, bad weather, or other dangers. That is why many birds spend the final moments before darkness carefully searching for safe places. Some choose thick trees. Others gather in hidden spots surrounded by branches and leaves. And surprisingly, some birds prefer sleeping near other birds rather than staying alone. But what hidden cameras discovered next was even more interesting. Not every bird settles down immediately. While many people assume all birds become inactive after sunset, some remain awake much longer than expected. They move quietly between branches, change sleeping spots, watch their surroundings, listen carefully to sounds in the darkness, almost like they are standing guard while the rest of the world sleeps. And this is only the beginning, because later in the night, some birds begin doing something so unusual that even experienced bird watchers rarely get the chance to see it. Because later in the night, some birds begin doing something so unusual that even experienced bird watchers rarely get the chance to see it. Around the middle of the night, when most houses are completely dark and almost everyone is asleep, the world outside is not as quiet as it seems. If you could suddenly see through the darkness, you might be surprised by how many birds are still awake. Not flying everywhere, not making noise, but quietly going about activities that most people never notice. Some birds leave the exact branch where they first settled. Others move to a different location without making a sound. Hidden cameras have captured birds changing sleeping spots several times during a single night. At first, this seems strange. After all, why not stay in one place until morning? The answer is simple. Safety. A bird that stays alert has a better chance of avoiding danger. That is why many birds wake up briefly throughout the night. They look around, listen carefully, then settle down again. To humans, this might seem exhausting. To birds, it is simply part of survival. But something else happens during these dark hours. Many birds gather closer together than they do during the day. Birds that spend daylight hours feeding alone are sometimes found resting side by side at night. Hidden cameras have shown groups quietly packed together on branches, almost touching each other. This helps them stay warm and may also help them feel safer. Imagine looking out your window at midnight and realizing dozens of birds are resting together in a nearby tree while everyone in the neighborhood sleeps. Most people would never know they were there. And then there are the sounds. Not loud sounds, tiny sounds, a small movement in leaves, a soft wing adjustment, a quiet call from one bird to another. The darkness may seem silent to humans, but birds are constantly aware of these little signals. What makes this even more fascinating is that some birds begin preparing for the next day long before sunrise arrives. While the sky is still completely dark, they become more alert. They change position. They watch their surroundings more carefully. almost like they know something is coming. And that raises an interesting question. How can birds possibly know morning is getting close when the sun is nowhere in sight? Because what hidden cameras captured in the final hours before dawn may be the most incredible part of the entire story. Because what hidden cameras captured in the final hours before dawn may be the most incredible part of the entire story. At some point during the night, something begins to change. The darkness still covers everything. The sun is nowhere to be seen. Most people are sleeping deeply in their beds. Yet many birds start behaving differently long before morning arrives. This is the part that surprises researchers. Birds do not wait for the sunrise to know a new day is coming. Somehow they seem to sense it. Hidden cameras have captured birds becoming active while the sky is still dark. A bird that has been resting quietly for hours suddenly opens its eyes. Another shifts position on a branch. Others begin looking around more often. There is no bright light yet, no obvious signal for humans. But the birds already know something is changing. Scientists believe birds have incredibly accurate internal clocks. These natural clocks help them predict daily events with remarkable precision. But when you watch the footage, it feels almost unbelievable. Minute by minute, more birds begin waking up. Not all at once. Slowly, quietly, like a hidden countdown nobody can see. And then something even more fascinating happens. The trees begin coming alive. A single bird moves. Then another. Then another. The branches that looked completely still during the middle of the night suddenly contain movement everywhere. Birds stretch their wings, adjust feathers, change positions. Some fly short distances between nearby trees. It is as if the entire bird world is preparing for something important. Because it is. Morning means food. Morning means activity. Morning means opportunity. And birds want to be ready before the rest of the world wakes up. What makes this moment so incredible is that humans rarely witness it. By the time most people step outside with their coffee, the process is already finished. The preparation happened hours earlier while everyone was asleep. But hidden cameras reveal the truth. The morning does not begin when humans wake up. For many birds, it begins much earlier. And then comes the moment that bird lovers know well. The first song. One bird calls out. A few moments later, another answers. Then another. Soon the quiet darkness begins filling with sound. Not random sound. A growing chorus spreading through trees, gardens, and neighborhoods. The day is arriving. But what those first calls actually mean may be even more surprising than the calls themselves. And once you understand why birds begin singing before sunrise, you may never listen to the morning the same way again. And once you understand why birds begin singing before sunrise, you may never listen to the morning the same way again. Those first sounds are not simply birds making noise. They are signals that a new day has started. Birds are announcing their presence, checking on nearby birds, and preparing for the busy hours ahead. By the time most people open their eyes, an entire chain of activity has already taken place. That may be the most surprising discovery hidden cameras have revealed. While humans were sleeping, birds were making choices, finding safe places, staying alert, preparing for morning, and slowly bringing the natural world back to life. Most of us only see a small piece of their story. We notice a bird on a fence, a bird at a feeder, a bird singing in a tree. But those moments are only the final chapter of a much bigger story that began long before sunrise. And perhaps that is what makes birds so fascinating. Every night, just outside our windows, a hidden world continues moving forward without us. Tiny lives following routines that have existed for thousands of years. A world full of caution, survival, preparation, and remarkable timing. The next time you hear birds singing early in the morning, pause for a moment and think about everything that happened before that sound reached your ears. While you were asleep, those birds were already awake, already preparing, already beginning a brand new day. And maybe that is the real secret hidden footage reveals. The night is never as quiet as it seems. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing bird mysteries and hidden animal behaviors. And tell me in the comments, have you ever heard birds singing before sunrise and wondered what they were doing all night? I would love to hear your thoughts.